A thrilling action flick is always a crowd pleaser. Since the release of the first Terminator in 1984, all the way up until the release of Bullet Train starring Brad Pitt just a year ago, viewers have been flocking to see things get blown up very good on screen. It is common knowledge that action films are the most successful at the box office. After all, which would you choose to watch? Bruce Willis sneaking around the Nakatomi building in Die Hard, or a 3-hour movie about shepherds in Siberia? Over the course of the past 10 years, no other action picture franchise has been able to quite achieve the same level of commercial success as the John Wick franchise. Action movies starring Keanu Reeves have quietly won over the hearts of audiences all across the world, beginning with 2014's sleeper hit and continuing all the way through 2023's John Wick, Chapter 4. However, which of these is the most well-known? Which is better, the original John Wick, which is widely considered to be among the best action films of all time, or the sequel John Wick? Chapter 2. The following is an ascending order list of the most successful John Wick movies based on the total amount of money each film made in box offices around the world. It should come as no surprise that the very first John Wick film occupies the last spot on this list. When it was first released in 2014, hardly nobody had very high expectations for the movie. Lionsgate stepped in at the 11th hour to prevent John Wick from going straight to DVD, despite the fact that the film had very nothing going for it. Chad Stahelski, the film's director, was a relative unknown at the time. Keanu Reeves, the film's leading man, has experienced a string of critical and commercial failures, the worst of which was the infamous 2013 bomb 47 Ronin, which occurred the year before this film. Its release date, October 24, was in no man's land for action films, and so it wasn't a major surprise when the cheesy horror thriller Ouija defeated it as the #1 movie that weekend. It came out on October 24. In spite of this, John Wick was successful enough at the box office to justify the relatively low budget of $20 million to $30 million that it had. Even while a total gross of $86 million may not seem like a lot for an action movie, the fact that the movie was able to generate a tidy profit from its theatrical run is impressive given the movie's meager budget and lack of any sort of marketing strategy. More crucially, John Wick did exceptionally well in home entertainment, increasing the size of its fans to the point that Lionsgate felt confident enough to give the go-ahead for a sequel that will have a somewhat larger budget. And the rest, as the saying goes, is history when it comes to action movies. After just over 2 weeks of release, John Wick, Chapter 4 had already surpassed both the first film and the second film in the series in terms of box office receipts. What was it about this one that got people excited enough to go see it? Those incredible fight sequences, which are already being referred to as legendary. Which murders stand out in your mind, such as the one that took place in a wet nightclub in Berlin? Is there even a remote likelihood that John Wick will perish in this chapter? What about all of the aforementioned things and many more? The budget for Chapter 4, at $100 million, was the biggest of any of the John Wick films. Yet, when compared to the budgets of other blockbuster films, such as Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania, which was at least $200 million, Chapter 4's budget seems relatively modest. Keanu Reeves is the only actor who could pull off the role of John Wick, an assassin who is coolly detached and likable at the same time, and the rapid popularity of Chapter 4 demonstrates both of these qualities. It's the ideal pairing of an actor with a part, and it's mostly the reason why audiences keep coming back for more. That and the breathtaking action sequences, which are among the very greatest that Hollywood has ever created for a motion picture.